Om Shanti, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. We are reading from chapter 6, the Yoga of Meditation. And after a long introduction, it is time to hear what Arjuna's questions are. So, we will read verses 33 and 34. Arjuna said, 33. This yoga of equanimity taught by thee, O Krishna, I do not see its steady continuance because of the restlessness of the mind. 34. The mind verily is restless, turbulent, strong, and unyielding, O Krishna. I deem it as difficult to control as to control the wind. So Arjuna received all those beautiful teachings about meditation, and he has a lot of faith in Lord Krishna, his best friend and his teacher, to whom he surrendered in the beginning of chapter 2. And he wants to practice, but this Arjuna, the great warrior who can focus on a target, the best archer, very self-disciplined, when it comes to the successful practice of meditation, he says, I don't know, I don't think I can do this, I just don't see it happening. To put it in our terminology, not going to happen. And what is he saying? This yoga of equanimity, meaning to keep the mind balanced, to keep the mind restrained, taught by thee, O Krishna, because we heard Lord Krishna teaching this to Arjuna and through Arjuna to us many times so far in the Bhagavad Gita, I do not see its steady continuance. Meaning, I do not take this practice as a 1 month pastime or as just something entertaining for me to do. I want to see it as a practice that I can continue steadily. I want to be able to really reach the high level of meditations that you described in order to reach the goal of yoga, as you described. So Arjuna is already expressing here in this very simple but very profound expression, its steady continuance, his desire to implement Lord Krishna's teachings to the fullest extent, to reach the highest goal, to reach the goal of yoga, to be able to be in samadhi. And this he cannot see himself doing. So Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, this teaching that you gave me, I don't see how I'm able to persevere and reach the goal. Why? Because of the restlessness of the mind. Swami Shivananda is telling us, as the mind is restless, impetuous, and unsteady, I find it difficult to practice this yoga of equanimity declared by thee. So this is what Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna. Swami Shivananda put it in his commentary. Oh my Lord, I cannot have steady concentration of the mind as it wanders here and there in the twinkling of an eye. Meaning, yes, I can focus here, I can focus there, I can discipline the mind for a moment, for 2 moments. Very good. But steady continuation of the practice, this state of exalted samadhi that you are describing, this I cannot do. Why? Because this practice is done with the mind, and the mind by its nature is restless. So Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, what you are asking me is to train the mind to work against its nature. The mind, by its nature, is restless. Not only it's restless, it goes from here to there, Swami Shivananda tells us, by the twinkling of an eye. And we all know this. We sit for meditation, we have this resolve, I'm going to focus on the mantra, even for 5 minutes, not to mention half an hour, not to mention more. A few minutes. I'm going to focus on the mantra, I'm going to keep calm. And before we know it, the mind is elsewhere. And by the time we realize that the mind wandered away, we already have so many towers built in the air. The mind went to so many places. And if we notice it, it's actually a good sign. It means that we are at least practicing meditation. We are at least aware of what's going on in the mind, and it's not just running everywhere uncontrollably, but we bring it, and then it goes again. And actually, Lord Krishna himself acknowledged it. Lord Krishna told us in verse 26, from whatever cause the restless and unsteady mind wanders away. Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, you yourself said just a few verses before, the mind is restless and unsteady. It will wander away. So, okay, you told me to bring it back and back and back and back. But I don't see its steady continuance. I don't see how I can reach the goal. The mind is too restless. The mind is too unyielding. It's too unsteady. What you're asking me to do is against the nature of the mind. So please explain. And then comes the other half of the question. Arjuna tells Lord Krishna how he experiences the qualities of the mind. And we had it, and we will discuss in the next teaching. So please join us. Om Shanti.